Yeah, they came just from Washington.
Because I don't think.
For now.
That's all we want to know.
Can they hear? The audio's not working.
You have it turned off.
So.
But it's not major or?
I have it
It
turned
says right there,
on.
it says start audio. On the bottom left.
Wow.
Bottom left says start audio. Or a video. Right there you go. So let's get our meeting started. So we're finding all the technical stuff going. We could all stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody to our town council meeting. That was not present, so the first thing we should do is do a roll call. Marty, listen to me, I'm here. Kevin Sayre here.
Mike McLaughlin here.
And the next business we have to do is assign a mayor pro tem for this meeting. And so I need a motion doing that.
Make a motion, we have Marty Lisenby as our pro tem for this meeting.
I'll second that.
And vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. And so that carries. And declaration of conflicts of interest, anybody?
Nope.
And consent agenda is, that's a joke. Every out goes, it seems. So that's not even here. We'll skip Mayor's Town update. Not sure what public hearings for. There isn't any. There's nothing under that. So our action is municipal general election canvas, and we have a basically that's just us certifying the election, and it's, you know, it's a particular day. It shouldn't take too long. That's, I wanted to, you know, congratulate Mason. I don't think there's ever been a mayor elected that's got that many votes. So that's. Want to let me. I guess we'll just make a motion that we certify the 2021 municipal general election canvas. One of you guys like to make the motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the canvas, certify the canvas for the election.
I'll second that.
And vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. And so that carries. And I wanted to, the next item on our agenda is then pulled from the agenda for several reasons. I finally was able to dig into some of the different items, different parameters in there. Basically, I've just said this has got to go back to planning commission for another look at the zone change, because of the there's several problems and what the paperwork submitted, it doesn't match the plat that they're trying to pass off. And so I've had a conversation with Mayor Beto today, and a meeting with Carl Rasmussen, the engineer on this project, and kind of giving them some pointers on where we need to go with that. So I'm sure that'll hit an agenda soon. And I also wanted to take a minute. I got an email today from Mayor-elect Mason Walters. I want to read a part of this. This is as part of our preparation. We have reviewed upcoming town council agendas and see that you're considering several significant zone changes and other issues that will have long-lasting and enduring effect on our citizens and infrastructure. It appears that most of these do not meet our general plan or conform to other required standards. With respect, we respectfully request that you deny these applications. As the town council, we are now accountable to the voters. As the new town council, excuse me, we are now accountable to the voters and are ready to make those decisions that are required by law and support the citizens and the community. And she goes on to say, during these transition periods, we request that you only make actions that are essential and necessary to the current operations of the town and be performed, so forth. Anyway, I just wanted to make a comment of that. I wanted to, you know, first off, anybody that's affected by any actions that come up, meaning developers or landowners, just, you know, put in a grammar request. I'm happy to provide this, and I'm sure your attorney can do some nice things with it. When somebody comes in, maybe I should ask, I haven't solicited anybody to bring in an application. Have you guys?
Nope.
Solicited? Did you go out and ask anybody?
Nope.
So these applications, they come in because a landowner owns property and they have the right to come in and ask us for a zone change. That's a right that we give everybody. And we have to look at every single one of them. And we also have a time limit when we have to look at them by. And there's a couple things that happen when they put an application in. We have a certain amount of time that we respond to that application and to act on it. We can't just deny it, everything because Mason asked us to. We have to, if it meets the general plan and it meets certain criteria, we have to seriously look at this. We can't just say, put on the brakes because Mason won the election. It just doesn't work that way. And the other thing that Mason probably doesn't understand yet is when these people put in the application, that application date becomes the date that the clock starts ticking, plus it becomes the date, even if in, let's say, January 2nd, 3rd, whatever the date is that your inauguration. And in that same meeting, you decide we're going to put a moratorium on everything. Even if you did that, those applications are still pending from prior to that. And so they're not encumbered on that moratorium because they have a date stamped on there. And that's why we're getting flooded with these things. Everybody's scared to death that we'll never get anything through them. I don't think that's the case. I don't think they're crazy enough to do that. But that's why we're getting flooded with this, is because developers or landowners that want to do something or have plans. We're getting a lot of pressure too from all over Washington County. We have a significant amount of building that that's going on. And because of the increase in pricing, it's more affordable now to come out here, put in the infrastructure to do what needs to be done in order to, put in the water lines or water tanks and different things that are required for our infrastructure. And because that's becoming more affordable based on how expensive it is to build in other parts, it's becoming more attractive. And so we're flooded with these things. We're not out asking for people to put in a zone change or else, it's people that have property, that have rights coming into us saying, do this. We're not packing the agendas or anything like that. And anyway, I just wanted to comment on that these people still have a dated right as of that date. And we still have the right to say no on a zone change. But if it meets general map, they also have the right to sue the town for damages when they go through court, and they can come back and it's a hardship now on the town if we lose, because it did meet the general map at the time their application was put in. And so right now we've got a couple of them, like behind my house, they won't put in half-acre lots, but it's zoned 1 acre to 5 acres as far as our general map goes. And with it being half acre, it's not a problem saying no to something like that, but it's not up to us to take direction from the mayor-elect to make those kind of decisions or even really comment on them like I just did. It's something that has to go through planning, a public hearing. They have the right to present their picture of what they see everything is going to be, what their vision is, and then the neighbors to comment on, and then decisions are made. And I feel like that this is putting the cart before the horse. We're saying deny everything, and we can't do that. We're not allowed to do that. And there's absolutely no way in the world I would ever want to do that, because if you have an application on file, you have a right to be heard. And without a letter like this coming out I think is so wrong to suggest that we're going to turn everything down because we're a lame duck town council. It's just it's crazy. I want to say that my wish for the town of Apple Valley is success. I hope you succeed. I hope that you have the support that I was never given from a lot of the community. As you know, from your flyers, the lies and different things that you perpetuated in flyers.
Whatever.
Anyway, so I wanted to set the record straight that I'm not going to be paying attention to this email, but any developers that want a copy of them will have to provide it to So I think, let's open up public comments. So go ahead.
My name is Linda Noyes and I live on Purple Sage Road. So my question is then, as a citizen, can I stop it at a planning meeting? Can I say what I don't like about it?
Absolutely.
And is that really heard? Because I've been here now about a year. I've been coming to the meetings probably since about April. And I've never seen so many planning changes, so many coming up. Now, you said it's because they're trying to rush it in. Well, then why can't we slow it down? I mean, yes, they have a right to try for one, but these quarter acres, these half acres, these mini homes coming in, if I don't like it, I have a right to say that, and that will be heard.
If you're asking me a question, I could answer and just say that you absolutely have a right to be heard, as do they. Everybody has a right to be heard, and then decisions are made based on the merits of all the arguments. And there's a recent activity up on the hill, AB 1329. They absolutely listen to everybody. We made them move roads, provide drainage and quite a bit of information, widening the road that goes that accesses that, and even still, I don't think they've even crossed all the hurdles that we gave them to even.
And I've been to some of those meetings, so I heard that and they've been slowly going through the process, but here in November, we get 10 zone changes. That just seemed, and places that had not ever had anything, and then all of a sudden they have a zone change. They want it,
I think it's just a result of the election. People are, we're getting, I don't want to comment on too many specifics, but I agree with you, but we don't go out and solicit those. That's what I want everybody to know, that we're not out there saying, oh, better hurry up. At all. That's not what we're doing at all. This is people that have property rights coming in with their application. And many of them are faulty in many different ways, and but I don't want to go into too many specifics on too many of them.
but when they're
But
here,
when
you
when
can,
you comment, we always have to listen, but that doesn't mean that their right to develop the property trumps your right to not have them next door to you. It doesn't, if it meets the general plan and it's within, if you're on a 1 acre lot, they want to put in 1 acre lots next to you.
right.
And that's what like AB 1329 was. It's them putting in reasonable right next to reasonable. It's not, we're not putting in a Walmart next to, somebody's house. This is reasonable.
Well, I have seen rapid growth and I know what it can do to not only a town, but also a state. And I don't want to see that happen here. And because of that, I want to comment. And does my comment then go into the notes and go to the Washington and?
That's why we record everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
Appreciate
you.
your comment.
I'm Britta Nelson. I live up on Cedar Drive. Hi. My concern is that we have this, the town has put together a zone ordinance for a reason. This is what the town, what we vision for our town. And now you're being flooded. And while you can wash your hands off of it and say, I didn't do it, we trust you guys to look out for us. I understand that landowners might want to hurry up and change things, might want to, throw a Hail Mary, so to speak. But we elected you guys. We trust you. And so when someone comes in and say, oh, I would like to, unfortunately, we got a lot of tiny homes south of me, and now they want to put quarter acre lots to the west of us. I'm like, what is this? That's not fair. There's a reason why we moved up here. We moved up here because we want that open space, right? And so I don't want to tell you what to do. But I do want to remind you that you are elected because we trust you. Please don't violate that. And please don't change all these zone changes just because you're getting flooded. The pressure is real, yes. But we trust you, okay?
I wanted to explore something, if you don't mind. It's kind of going off script a little bit. What would be okay next to that circle going into?
Well, nothing less for me than half an acre.
Right.
No, what I meant
Right.
was, so homes there is okay with you, but you just larger lots is what you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally,
It's commercial
I like,
property right now, the zoning is. It's-
right.
It's like, I don't know. C2.
But they're not trying to change it for that reason. They're trying to put quarter acre lots, houses.
They have tried to change it to that and we didn't let that go through.
Thank you. And
So they want to put an RV park there and I will,
so you don't think it's enough that we have tiny homes?
I think, I didn't want tiny homes.
Would you like that next to you?
No, what I'm saying is I didn't like the tiny homes when it went in.
No,
and
neither
that
do
was
I.
approved prior to me being mayor.
Right. I'm not blaming you.
Rick Moser days is who approved
Right.
that, and it didn't meet the ordinances.
No,
Or anything, even when it was approved, it didn't meet our ordinances.
nope.
But the approval was,
And yet nobody's holding them accountable for it.
in what way?
If they break, if they break the law, right, you should be able to step in and go, whoa, wait, you only approved for this much. From what I understand, there's supposed to be, I can't remember how much it is per acre of a tiny home. And there's more than
No,
that.
what they were approved by Rick Moser was what they have. I made them move units off of lots, so they couldn't be on, because originally when I was mayor, they had them drawn where they'd have a tiny home right on the property lines. No, you got 4 lots there, you have to abide by the setbacks and everything. I run those, I mean, they hate my guts because I made them stick to what was approved and what our guidelines were and everything. But
And that's what we're asking you to do in this case. We're asking you guys, if you would please consider sticking to your guns and follow the zoning. Don't let all these
I appreciate it.
contractors come in and slide in.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's our livelihood, not a livelihood, but it's our neighborhood,
Your neighborhood, yeah.
right? And so I do want to protect that as much as I can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Let me clarify something on my view on the take on the whole thing. First of all, I've had a lot of calls and complaints from the citizens asking me what I'm gonna do. Is this gonna go through? This looks like a slam dunk by Mayor Beto. And I had to agree with them. He's taken all this, piled it all on the last 1 or 2 meetings. I've intensely reviewed all these things and I find fault with all of them. And so when that letter came out, I believe that a response to that was the citizens reaching out to the new council and mayors that are coming, mayor that's coming in about this being stopped.
Let me just say some of the comments that we're making right now are appropriate ahead of a public hearing. So it's okay that you make them. It's not okay that we make them because we have to have a non-biased kind of a look at them when it comes time. And so talking against these right now isn't appropriate ahead of a public hearing that isn't till next week. And then when it hits our table, have at it.
You bet.
Okay,
Is it all right if I comment?
yes.
John Pay's my name. A lot of you know me. I've lived here, not 1 year, I've lived here 26 years. And I've seen all the problems that they've had with all the different mayors and all the problems. The truth is, what's going on here now affects my property, my 40 acres up there by that 56 acres. Now, when they started to excavate the 3-acre pond there, which should have never been put there, what they spent there, they could have put that same money, they could have put storm drains all the way down through Mount Zion Circle and all the way down to the wash and did it properly. Now that pond, a big 4-acre hole there, when they started to do it, I walked out there under the fence, and the guy was in a Caterpillar. I don't know who he was, a big guy with a beard, and he ran over me. I tried to wave to him and ask him what he was planning on doing, and he just kept going. He wouldn't stop and talk to me. Now, up above my property, along the east side, I walked up there, and they put the road within 1 foot, that crown of the road within 1 foot of the east of my property. Now, I thought they had to be 50-foot roads with sides, or they should be. I built a couple of subdivisions, one up in Huntsville, Utah, and Superior, Montana. And you have to have proper size on the road. You can't put a road right next to a guy's fence. Now that anybody that wants to go up there, the first thing they did, they damaged my fence with a bunch of old cedar posts and wire. It still isn't fixed. Now, how in the world can you drive down a road and have the crown of the road within 1 foot of a fence? They should have at least allowed 7 feet for some type of easement, or they didn't give me any consideration for any future development. Up the north side, there's no street plan to come in, and they put that holding pond that takes half of the people's lots on the one side. And then when you get, I don't know what they're doing. It's just crazy, the stuff they're doing up there. And running that road all the way to Rockville. Now, maybe they think by getting it up there, of course, if it ever becomes commercial, they're going to make a lot of money by having commercial ground up there. That's how it works in all these towns. They put the roads where they think future subdivision, and politics are involved. They did it in St. George, they're doing it all over. The people know where the new future roads are going, and they want to put those roads where they can eventually make a lot of money. But it boils down to the same stuff we've been talking about. They can dream all they want. They're not going to have enough water to do it all. There's not enough water to do all these subdivisions. And Marty doesn't want them up there on the other side of him. And I don't want that holding pond by me, but I gave up now. I put up my property for sale. After 26 years, I'm getting out of here. I'm tired of this town and all. I put my heart and soul and did a lot of work here on a lot of houses. Built all the krells around the septic drain fields. I know all about Ted and all the stuff he did, put in them proper lines. They switched them to the other side of the road. They came up through my property and said, if I'd let them hook onto my Schedule 900 water lines, then I could build. Then they said I couldn't build because I'm on a dead end road. So I don't know what's going on here. At my age, I just can't do it anymore. And I decided to sell out. And it breaks my heart to leave my beautiful place that I built up there and all the work I've done. But I don't have any options. There's the way they trash the land, and that holding pond's the craziest thing I've ever seen. We get a flood through here once every, what, they said 100 years. It could have been, we didn't need that bridge out there. All they had to do is put a holding pond in front with an apron and a pipe. Water only runs one way, and we didn't need that expensive bridge. That's the exact kind of bridge that they put over creeks and streams up in northern Utah. But anyway, I can't even put my thoughts together right. I've been up half the night worrying about everything. But anyway, they don't have to worry about me much longer. I put my whole place up for sale, and I'm getting out of here. Now you can all stay here, and I hope someday you get everything worked out. I think Mason could maybe help a lot, but she'll find out. She's got a lot of problems here. Anyway, that's all I got to say.
Amen, brother.
Hi, I'm Brad Mammon. I live out in Cedar Point. I think this past election was a wake-up call as to what this town wants. They voted in people that will hear and listen to all of us. Do any of you happen to live off of the Cedar Point watershed at all? Do you know what's going on out there?
We know what's going on.
Do you know you can't take a shower without smelling like shit? So all these changes to add in more lots instead of keeping things as is, it's ridiculous to even think of that without fixing the water thing first. There is no reason to even consider anything. We're all here. We all have homes and properties, and we don't have water. I hope the hell a home won't catch on fire out there, because I don't think there's enough water out there to put out a campfire. It's terrible. You neglected us over the years, over and over. I'm not anti-development. I'm all for it. It's got to be done reasonably. But you can't develop if you don't have water. You got to get that pipeline done, whatever it is. You can say, oh, don't worry, we've got plenty of water. I take a shower every day smelling like a rotten egg. Do you guys? No.
Ours smells like a rock.
No. I mean, it's ridiculous that it just continues to go on to let people put in quarter acres, tiny home, whatever, taking up more volume of the water we don't have. So the people have obviously spoken. Please consider it in your judgments coming up that, yeah, you know, we really don't have the water to adjust things right now. Fix the water, then we can talk about things. But the water, everyone I'm sure saw on 60 Minutes, 5-10 years, Washington County's out of water. That's including us, I'm sure, if not sooner, at least out in Cedar Point. So people can ask for changes. You can try to rush all these things through, whatever, but think about us here who have homes, who want to stay here, but they also want water.
Appreciate your comment.
Okay.
I want to give you some information. Some of the problems that we had, and I don't know where all of them originate at, but one of the problems we have with our system is some of the residents out there, the water goes from the well into a pipe. And there's many of the residents that get their water out of that pipe before it ever hits the tank. That's the worst of the smell and the quality of water. There's other residents that are getting it directly from the tank, and that problem doesn't exist on the same system. But it's because it goes from the well directly into your house is the problem. It should have never been built that way. Municipalities are supposed to build that. It goes from the well to the tank, then they can test the tank, and they can check for water quality in the tank before it ever gets delivered to your house. And somewhere along the line. I don't know who it is that approved this thing. It should have never been built that way.
Well,
And so we're aware of it. We're aware of the problem.
okay,
And we're trying to fix that with, a pipeline.
Canaan pipeline,
Canaan
right.
pipeline. And then now you have spring water going in there. Don't turn on the pump and backflow that water that's right now going from the pump up to the 1,000,000-gallon tank. Your comment on the volumes, I haven't talked to Dale in the last week or two, but last time I asked him, we had 900,000 gallons of water in that 1,000,000-gallon tank.
I find that hard to believe, but.
Well, we've cut down on the usage out of that tank, which helped it regenerate. So we're don't have a volume problem, but this is why you have a quality problem, and we're trying to fix that as well.
Did the people who are drawing off it before it gets to the tank, did they just show up all of a sudden? Because for 13 years, I had perfectly good water.
Well, it's probably the well itself has changed. I hate to get into too many details on that. That's something for the water master to tell us, but there's difference in water quality. But
Pipeline's coming.
anyway, the pipeline will take care of that. And back to the project. I know everybody's afraid we're going to approve this project. We can comment on that in this meeting because we haven't had a public
Right.
hearing yet.
I'm not,
These comments will be appropriate in our next meeting for the planning commission, because I don't know if it's next Wednesday or what the date is, but
yeah,
we have-
I just wanted you guys to, consider the water thing,
show up at the planning meeting.
Yeah,
and voice your
right.
concerns, so they've got it, and but we're not. I can't tell you what we'll do other than
Right.
we're not crazy,
Right.
and we're aware of the problem.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Anyone else before I get up to speak? Anyone else? It's Mason Walters. I first of all want to thank all the residents who voted for me and the town council members. We do hear your concerns, and we are going to work diligently to respond to your concerns. As far as your comments, Mr. Lisenby, I did state that I feel that they don't conform to the general plan or to other certain
It's
restrictions.
still inappropriate to make comments as a council or mayor ahead of a public hearing.
I didn't make public statements. You made it public. You made it public. I didn't make public statements.
I read what you sent me, which is trying to influence how we would act on it, particular project, and we can't do that. We can't.
Based on its
publicly
merits,
say-
sir, based on its merits, not trying to influence you based on our opinions about water or anything else, just based on the merits. I was asking you to look at the merits. And if you look at the merits,
It's-
they
we
don't
have-
conform to
You're
the
asking
general
me to turn
plan.
something down, we haven't had a public hearing on, we can't do that. That's
Okay.
what I'm trying to teach you right now. Is that you
Thank you.
can't make public comments like that ahead of a public hearing, which shows that your bias is to turn down a project when we haven't even looked at the merits of the project.
It wasn't a public comment.
It is.
It wasn't a public
because I just
comment.
read it.
Okay,
Yeah,
exactly. You made
And
it
is a
public.
comment because it's coming to all of us on the council level.
Right,
Okay.
it was a citizen to the council member that supports her, right?
It's mayor-elect.
But she's a citizen.
I currently don't have any power. I don't have any jurisdiction, and I'm not up there making decisions. But
But you will.
Please let
I
her
appreciate
speak.
that.
Yes.
But I just want to say that that's what we're asking. Please just, and I don't need to talk about the merits of the case right now. We can do that next week. But please just view them on the merits. They do not adhere to the general plan, and we'll talk about that next week. And make your decisions based on that. And then, as the residents have said, you're also supposed to look at our resources as part of those decisions. And so include that in your decision-making as well. That is what I'm asking of you. And that's what the residents are asking of you. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll close public comments. And did we have any reports? I skipped over that item.
Are we not doing number 2?
Number 2 is, I motion that we table number 2. I mentioned it when we passed over it, that they've withdrawn this request at this time, and that there's problems that I've identified. I can, go over those with you on an individual basis if you want, or if you want me to do it in the meeting, I can tear it up in the meeting too, so.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to deny it.
Yeah, they've asked us to withdraw that, so that, what I want to do is,
So we don't need to table it.
What?
We don't need to table it.
no, yeah, because they withdraw, well, they withdrew it, but, yeah, I'll just do this, let, anybody who wants to, after the meeting, kind of go over stuff that I've discovered and uncovered, and, I'd like to, but anyway, this is, that application is gonna go back to planning commission. So that's, that'll,
So we're not
hold on the public hearing.
We're not doing anything.
No, it'll go back to planning commission. That's what's gonna happen on that. I can go into the details after the meeting. So, hey, put on any reports or anything, do you have any other comments or questions either of you?
Only thing I'd like to say is, on when we kind of went through the number 1 really quick on the general election canvas, and we kind of brought up Mason Walters with her winning the mayorship, and I just kind of like to bring up the other candidates that also won for the 4-year seat with our Apple Valley Council. We have Kevin Sayre that won, and then Robin Whitmore, she's here tonight. I'd like to congratulate her. We have popular vote on there, so she's in there. And then in our 2-year terms, looks like Andy McGinnis won that one.
Yeah.
So Kevin tied, and same amount of people. They're twins. So anyway, that's the only comment I have. So thank you. Look forward to your
Thank you
serving
for
on this
reading that.
council, and appreciate you for running.
All right, motion to adjourn.
I second. Oh, I thought you did. I make a motion we adjourn.
Aye.
Aye. Someone seconded that? Did I miss that?
He nodded at me.
Mike did.
Well, you made the motion, you second.
I seconded.